AI is reshaping the future of banking, and the time to scale is now. Financial institutions are moving beyond just experimentation, harnessing AI to drive customer satisfaction, reduce fraud, accelerate innovation, and unlock new business models.
But scaling AI requires more than technology. It demands trusted partnerships, resilient infrastructure, and deep industry expertise.
And Khaliq Khan, VP Global Lead of Kyndryl Vital over at Kyndryl, joins us now to discuss these issues in more detail. Welcome, Khaliq.
Very nice to be here. Thank you for inviting.
Now, given the financial services industry challenges of navigating evolving regulatory compliance requirements, integrating AI capabilities with legacy infrastructure, addressing heightened data security and customer privacy concerns, along with also building consumer trust in AI-driven financial advice and decision-making, where should financial institutions be focusing their investments on when it comes to AI?
So first, I think when it comes to financial services industry, AI is not new, right? The financial industry was one of the first ones to start dibbling with AI. And as you start projecting forward and as AI becomes mainstream, it becomes very, very important for them to use AI not only as a way and vehicle to grow their business and to offer completely different services, but also to start looking at how do you defend against attacks coming in from AI. So use AI as a defense mechanism against AI. And all of that requires a completely different mindset, right? You cannot start looking for mess for less. You cannot start looking for doing the same things you've always been doing, but to take a completely different perspective, an outside-in perspective, start looking at how do you serve your customers better. And the thing that I always say is when you start looking at transforming a business, you have to remember people are looking for more banking, less bank. They're looking for services that help them help their financial health rather than just a financial management institution. So when you start thinking about what should we do, we should think about transforming ground up, outside in view, and a completely different mindset to change the question, starting with why rather than how.
It's an interesting point you make there, Khaliq, because the outcomes that customers care about remain consistent, essentially, don't they? It's about controlling costs, delivering exceptional experiences, mitigating risks, and driving profitable growth. So how does Kyndryl help customers meet these challenges despite unprecedented disruption in the market, technology, and competitive dynamics?
Yeah, so I think first, we are one of the only companies that are looking at the whole AI space from chip to experience, which is absolutely essential, right? If you start looking at just AI as a technology, at some level, you end up focusing on putting the same on top of what you have. And you mentioned the aging infrastructure. So you do necessarily need to look at bottom up. In addition to that, what people care about is how they interact with this technology, right? How does it transform what they do on a daily basis? If we look at a little bit of the history, we've always focused on how do you take human input and use a computer to send it out through a system. Whereas the first time, we're now looking at system output and trying to humanize it. So how do you interact with the masses in a way where you're speaking a language, or the system is speaking and generating a language where they resonate and that they can absorb? And if you apply that to financial services, how do I manage your financial health? How do I actually help you interact with the system that gives you the results based on the targets you set? And that's where Kyndryl comes in. We're looking at it top to bottom, and we're looking at how do you use technology to generate meaningful interactions with each individual customer, going back to the banking services and offerings that you have, and how do you make sure that they're relevant to each individual.
So let's stay on this topic of AI. How does Kyndryl help customers exactly using AI to deliver on differentiated experiences, operational excellence, as well as innovation for growth?
Yeah, again, very good question. I think what I would do is to say we divide the problem into two bits. How do you enable your employees to better serve a customer, and how do you enable a customer to be able to do more for themselves? And AI has a very important role to play on both sides. On the customer side, meaningful interactions that are personalized around what you want to accomplish. On the employee side, always the ability to do more, to be able to better serve you in each interaction and to be able to give you meaningful results is what what kind of leads to success. And we need to remember that the regulations will always be there. Banking and financial services always face new regulations. We in Kyndryl have developed this framework, which is all about keeping in mind that the regulations will continuously evolve and grow, but at the same time to personalize and to bring in the capability to give you individual offerings, balancing the employee and the customer. That's kind of the framework that we've developed. I think if you correctly implement it and you correctly monitor it, it has the potential to completely transform the banking industry.
Do you have any examples for us of AI native enterprises in FSS? What was the business problem? Where were they on their AI journey at the time? How was the solution developed? And essentially, what was the outcome?
So AI and AI solutions are new for everybody, even though banking, as I said in the beginning, has had AI solutions for a very long time. The end-to-end AI solution is not yet fully there for any organization. And so when we start, from Kyndryl's perspective, when we start projecting forward on what an AI native organization would look like, we start with the nervous system. Right? How do you create a solution which learns from the interaction? It's kind of an apprentice when you start off. It learns everything that is happening in an organization, and then based on that learning creates the perfect path on how to navigate the systems. And not only by asking for a replacement of all solutions, but by coordinating all the resources that a company has to offer a better answer. Right? And I think that's the trick. And when it comes to an example, we are working with a government organization in the Middle East, where for the first time, we're trying to create a native AI government. Now, it's quite a unique opportunity because when you start projecting forward, a government interacts with each one of us at very different levels. So how do you make sure that it balances the needs of the vulnerable and the more affluent? How do you make sure that it replaces the more laborious tasks that today are done manually, but then also enables these people to do more, to offer better services? It's not about replacing, it's about augmenting. And that's what the journey that we're on with this client of ours is all about.
Now, to finish up, a key consideration for enterprise-wide AI implementation is around skills gap and workforce transformation. And I think a lot of people watching this right now are dealing with this exact question. So how are leading companies upskilling their teams or even redesigning roles to thrive in a more AI-augmented environment?
So as I was saying, from a security perspective, you have to have AI combating AI. Similarly, you have to have AI educate people to use AI, right? You need to think about it as a complement to the skills that people have. Because moving forward, upskilling is not a discrete task. It's a continuous activity. It's a continuous activity of making sure that people understand the new threats, the new opportunities, and the new space of innovation. And to be able to do that, you need to use AI in a very different way. The mindset has to change from the top to the bottom and think of AI as this augmented tool set that's there as a companion that continuously teaches, that continuously learns about you, and continuously evolves to give you better answers or to give you better opportunities. And that's what we're doing. Actually, a lot of our training, when you go in, to one of the Kyndryl training institutes, you'll see that we educate our people ground up with AI, with avatars, with personalized offers that are individualized to each employee.
So thank you so much once again for sharing those insights, and enjoy the rest of your week over here at Sibos.
Thank you very much.
That was Khaliq Khan, VP Global Lead of Kyndryl Vital at Kyndryl.